Hey third graders, welcome to our ELA mini lesson for Tuesday, September 1st. Let's set our purpose for reading today. I can use think aloud stems to help me talk about and understand a story. I want you right now to think a moment. What are some of the think aloud stems you thought about as we read The Good Egg from yesterday? Remember, good readers are always thinking to help them understand what they are reading. Here are just a few examples of some of the think aloud stems your classmates used. Some for the before reading. What if the egg is bad? I predict he will be like the cool bean. When I saw the title, I thought the story will only be about the good things he does. Some of your during reading thoughts were, I predict his friends will turn good. I liked when he left, the other eggs didn't care, but when he came back, they missed him. A few of the after reading thoughts were, I predicted the egg was going to fix him. My favorite part was when he returned home because he was lonely. Today we're reading a story called The Cool Bean. I already have 3 stems that I want you to try and use yourself. You can jot them down in your notebook so you have them ready to go when we're reading. We're going to come up with a I predict stem for before reading, and I see during the reading, and after reading. My favorite part of the story was. Have no fear, you can use more than those stems though, but that's just to help you out a bit for today's activity. So right now, I want you to take a moment and think, what predictions do you have about the cool bean? You can start your stem off with, I predict. For me personally, I wrote, I predict the cool bean will become upset just like the good egg. Because if you notice, it's from the same authors that wrote The Good Egg and The Bad Seed. So make sure you jot down what prediction you have before reading the story. As we're reading the story, let's work on our visualizing. What do we see is going on in the story with the cool bean? What can you picture in your mind? And let's see if we can create a sentence think aloud stem using I see. And don't forget, after we finish reading the story, you're going to share out what your favorite part was.
The Cool Bean, written by John Jory, illustrated by Pete Oswald. Watch out! Here come the cool beans. The cool beans. Oh yeah, check out how they move. Look at the way they swagger. Notice their sunglasses? Yow! The cool beans are known all over school, from house to house, across town, beyond county lines. In the olden days, last year, we were all one big pot of beans. We were a mixed bag, but somehow it worked. Yep, those were the good old days. And then we stopped seeing each other as much. That's just how it is sometimes. You spend less time together, even though you're not totally sure why. I watched as the beans I knew so well, the beans from my own pod, became the cool beans. Oh, they were so cool. One of them could play the guitar. Cool. One of them could draw the best superheroes. Cool. One of them could jump higher than any bean I'd ever known. Cool! Me? Well, I mostly stayed the same. Sure, I made some small changes. I wore sunglasses. Too big. I slicked my hair back. Too.
I want you to take a moment and think to yourself, what do you see is going on in this story with the cool bean and the other characters? What do you picture in your mind? And I'm sorry, guys, that is my dog Parker barking in the background. So if you remember before reading, I predicted the cool bean will become upset just like the good egg, and he seems to be. During reading, I see that the bean just wants to fit in. He just wants to be like his other cool friends. He feels a bit left out and lonely. What's something that you see is going on? Remember, these stems up here are to help you, but you can use any of these think aloud stems from our chart.
And ate lunches, and mostly kept to myself. The cool beans continued being cool. I mean, sure, I missed them a bit, but it's not like I was going to say anything. I felt like all that coolness had gotten in the way of our friendship. And that's how it went. Until one day, I was in the cafeteria. I dropped my lunch on my loafers. Oh no, not again. But then something sort of miraculous happened. Out of nowhere, one of the cool beans helped me clean it up. He didn't even say anything. He just gave me a nod. That was it. Later, I was out on the playground. I tripped and scraped my knee and maybe cried a little bit, and everybody saw it. Another one of the cool beans came to my side, and without a word, he dusted me off. That afternoon, I was sitting in class. I wasn't really paying attention. I didn't notice, but our teacher had called on me. Everybody stared. I sat there in silence. Nobody said anything. And then, everybody just laughed at me. That was it. After today, I was officially...
This is a perfect time. I want you to stop and think, what are you thinking about as we're reading this story? What are you seeing is going on with the bean? Do you have any predictions about what's going to happen next? You could say a stem such as, I predict, or in the next part, I think. What do you think is going to happen? Is there something you're confused about? Remember to use these stems as we're reading to track your thoughts.
A has-been. But then one of the cool beans stood up and came over to me. Everybody watched. She leaned in close and whispered, "Hey, the teacher asked you to read from page 32. Then she gave me a quick wink and went back to her seat. It was a small gesture, sure, but it was also everything. I walked home with a goofy smile on my face. I smiled all the way through dinner. That day made all the difference. It was a day that could have been really bad, if not for the kindness of a few cool beans. It gave me a shred of confidence. That shred of confidence has continued to grow. Somebody had my back, or a few somebodies. After that, I started hanging out with the cool beans again. How have you been? Get it? How have you been? Not all of the time, but sometimes. At lunch, after school, even on the weekends. Throughout all of this, I realized that it's not about how you look or any of that other silly stuff. It's about a wink, or a nod, or a smile at just the right moment. It's about dusting somebody off, helping them up again, and pointing them in the right direction. You need a hand? Yes, please. Now that's cool.
Okay, what a wonderful story. So now let's kind of complete this last part of the chart for the after reading. For me, I'm going to use the my favorite part of the story stem. Think to yourself, what was the part of the story that you enjoyed the most? My favorite part of the story was when the cool beans helped the uncool bean when he was reading in the class. Oh, bit of a typo there. I love when I see students helping each other out, especially when it's in front of the teacher. So that was my personal favorite part. So for your assignment today, you're going to be completing the before, during, and after reading stems for the cool bean. Feel free to use the I predict, I see, and my favorite part of the story for your stems. If you want to use other ones, refer to the Think Aloud chart. Make sure early finishers can continue the extension activity. I can't wait to see what you were thinking before, during, and after reading the cool bean.